We've introduced ourselves, and tonight is a session regarding the Pickering Casino opening update. Largely, what we're going to cover is the Durham Live development update, the current construction activities that are taking place on the subject lands, and the Pickering Casino opening impacts. Then we're going to turn it over to the Q&A. Now, this site is in Pickering, not in Ajax, just so everybody's aware. It's over there on Church in the 401. I guess it would be the, northwest corner of Bailey and Church, across from the Annandale Golf and Curling Club property. So back in January of 2015, the city of Pickering passed a bylaw which rezoned those lands to allow for a major tourist destination and an urban reserve. So that's the zone code that was put in place by the city of Pickering to allow for those lands to be developed for the development that's being put on the land. So the casino, hotel, film studio, restaurants, other amenities on the site as well. Tonight's going to be focused on just kind of the first phase of development that you see going on out there right now. And then in October of 2018, the city of Pickering approved the first phase of development, which included 1,000 gaming positions, a 275-room hotel, and that's the element that I missed, a 2,500 seat performing arts center. So that's what they're constructing right now on the site. Then in January of 2020, the city of Pickering approved an increase to the gaming positions from 1,000 to 3,300 gaming positions. And there's future phases. This is the first phase of development on those lands. There's additional phases to come over time. They will require approvals from the appropriate approval authorities, being the City of Pickering, the Region of Durham, and the Ministry of Transportation. Just to give you a lay of the land, we have the site plan up on the screen.
Do you want a pointer?
Is there a little pointer? Thank you. So the three, everyone's seen the site, kind of been by it on the 401, the GO train, Church Street, Bailey. You can see three big concrete columns going up in the air. Those are the elevator shafts for the 14-story hotel that's going to be on the site. The hotel is integrated into the casino building as well as the Performing Arts Center. The casino itself is around 225,000 square foot floor plate. The only elements that are subject to opening in kind of the early part of April are the casino floor itself and 3 floors associated with the hotel, which are to be used for the business operation of the casino itself. So security, HR, all their offices, etc., are within the first 3 floors of the hotel. And those are what's anticipated to only be open in the early part of April. The hotel and the arena are anticipated to be open towards the latter part of 2020, possibly into 2021. All depends on, again, weather, construction, timing, etc. So as I mentioned, the casino is anticipated to be open in the early part of April. Only the casino, the parking structures, the surface parking lots, in part, as the site itself will still be a live construction site during the early stages of opening the casino. There are no grand opening activities planned at all in April for the casino. How Durham Live and the operators have termed it is it's going to be a slow opening, soft opening, It's going to be a number of smaller type of events, invitation only. It's not going to be April whatever, open the doors and a free-for-all. So the operator's goal is to ease into the operations of the casino. Now, there are some road improvements that are required as a result of this first phase of development, and those are going to take the next 18 months to complete. And these improvements, I think I'll let John jump out into here just because he's the traffic guy and he deals with most of this stuff. But there's 5 particular areas that John's going to touch on. And as I mentioned, these are road improvements that will be completed over the next 18 months to facilitate the development and the opening of the casino.
Yeah. And the one thing I want to add to that is the 18 months is the timeline that we're given right now, the information that we've been, or that has been communicated to us. We also know that the developer who's responsible for these improvements is working closely with Durham Region to see if those timelines can be reduced. They realize that they need to make these improvements. Some of them require some technical elements, moving of hydro poles, street lights, so that they are technical in nature, but they are trying to expedite their construction and reduce that 18 months timeline. So the 5 that I just want to highlight for you, so signified by the dots that we have on the screen. The first one is right at Colino and Church Street, so the entrance to the site. If you've been by there recently, you'll notice that they've finished the road work associated with it. So there's now a northbound left turn lane, dedicated left turn lane, dedicated southbound right turn lane, both of those go into the site. From the site, there are 2 dedicated left and right turn lanes that are there, and then there will be a signal that is put at that intersection. They're trying to have it ready for opening. Weather dependent is going to be, or the weather is going to kind of dictate if they're able to get all the necessary equipment in time for their anticipated early April opening. Second intersection I'll take you to is over in Pickering, Brock and Bailey. There's 1 new lane that is needed. It's a dedicated, or a second southbound left. So right now there's 1. There'll be a slight widening of the road on the north side to accommodate a second southbound left. There's then extensions to existing turn lanes. So the east or the westbound right, so coming from Ajax, turning right, heading toward the 401, that right turn lane will be extended to provide some additional storage. And then the eastbound left, which is coming from Pickering and coming through that intersection, also requires some extension. Moving to my east, still in Pickering at Squires Beach and Bailey, so number 3. That intersection, again, is just extensions to existing turning lanes. So eastbound right, westbound left, heading up Squires Beach, that will be an entrance into the facility, or is an entrance into the facility. So those existing turn lanes get extended. Moving further east again, now on the Ajax-Pickering border, number 4, Church Street and Bailey. Same thing, extensions of turning lanes, westbound left, eastbound right, get extended to provide additional storage. And the final intersection here in the town of Ajax, Westney and Bailey, there is provisions for a new southbound right dedicated turn lane, and that will be constructed and provide for some additional capacity through that intersection.
And as John mentioned, the landowners, Durham Live, the casino operators, Great Canadian Gaming, are all working with the Region of Durham Works Department, Ministry of Transportation,
City of Pickering, Town of Ajax, in regards to all of these road improvements.
Who's paying for it?
The developer is responsible for the payment of those, or the costs associated with those improvements. because they were identified as required improvements associated with what we called the first phase of development, that the casino shell, the hotel, the 275-room hotel, and the 2,500-seat performing art arena. So next, I wanted to walk you through what has been termed the Transportation Management Plan. So this is a plan that has been in development since early December. A stakeholder group, which Jeff and I sit on as representatives from the town of Ajax, have been meeting every 2 weeks to develop this plan. So this plan is being developed on behalf of One Toronto Gaming, so they're the ones operating the casino, and is done through input from an extensive stakeholder group.
Yeah.
So there's ourselves, City of Pickering, Region of Durham, their planning group, their transportation group, their operations group.
Their transit group.
Their DRT is at the table,
Yes.
Durham Region Police, Durham Region EMS, Pickering Fire, Ajax Fire, the OPP, MTO.
Canadian Gaming, Durham Live.
It's a large table. There's a lot of us.
There's some OLG representation around the table. So there's a lot of stakeholders or a lot of people sitting in on this committee that are providing their input at different points through this process.
And making sure that their needs are addressed through this plan. So the plan is nearing completion. We've seen a second draft, and you're going to see the information we're presenting is kind of out of that second draft that's been prepared, and it will be finalized in the coming weeks, and then you'll see elements of it deployed onto the road network. So paramount to the TMP are the three objectives that they laid out, was ensuring safety of the public at all times during the opening of the facility and beyond, minimizing disruption of normal traffic flow in the communities surrounding the facility, and enabling the safe and efficient movement of traffic, emergency services, and people to and from the facility. So the Transportation Management Plan consists of a number of physical and operational characteristics. And there is a transit plan, or transit strategy, emergency strategy, circulation and parking plan, communication plan. There are a number of elements. We're going to focus in on these 4 tonight, as we felt these were the ones that are most pressing for our residents, and we want to make sure that the information that is contained within them, we're able to present to you. So the first being the one-way counterclockwise traffic pattern through the casino site. Second being the implementation of the one-way northbound traffic flow on Church Street from Bailey to Mill. Third being the provision of shuttle services from the Pickering GO station, the Ajax GO station, and Ajax Casino. And that's done through 2 different types of shuttles. I'll explain it in the coming slides. And the final is the use of extensive signage, both message boards, variable message boards, and temporary fixed signage. There's deployment of police, paid duty police, to help ensure safety and operation of the network. And then there's extensive monitoring both at the MTO's Compass Monitoring Traffic Center, as well as Durham Region's Traffic Center, which they monitor all the signals. So in Durham Region, the region is responsible for all signals. Whether they're in the City of Pickering, Town of Ajax, Town of Whitby, they have a central monitoring facility that they're able to, through CCTV, in real time, see traffic patterns on the roads, and then are able to adapt signals to help in an effort to alleviate some of the congestion. So the first element I want to walk through is the one-way traffic pattern in combination with the one-way northbound flow on Bailey. So the one-way traffic flow will start at Bailey, northbound on Church. Casino traffic, inbound casino traffic will be directed there. It will proceed up Church Street and then enter the site. Local traffic on Church will also be able to travel northbound and then past site entrance and up into Pickering Village. Once on site, casino traffic will continue that one-way flow, being directed through various flag persons to open parking to the parking structures. They have a whole plan on how they are going to fill the structures. They're going to start at the top and work their way down to ensure people find spots quickly and that congestion is minimum. People are not searching for spots. They'll be directed to spots.
And what the casino operators indicated that internal to the site during the early days of opening, they're going to have their staff managing traffic, pointing people in the right direction, making sure people aren't dropping people off in the wrong spots and backing up the traffic. So they're going to have their own, I guess, TMP or traffic management plan internal to the site that they're going to be fully responsible for.
Yeah. And then on exit, casino traffic will be directed out what was formerly Colino Street to Squires Beach Road and down to Bailey. So it'll be a complete counterclockwise circulation of casino traffic. In this plan, southbound traffic on Church Street is prevented or stopped. This decision started through discussions with DRPS. The regional police wanted to ensure that they could provide a clear and safe route of access to and from the site if necessary, especially during this opening period. So that's the other thing I want to emphasize is this closure is only temporary. It's envisioned for a 2-week period, but it is going to be evaluated daily.
Yes.
You can't guarantee it's not temporary then.
Yes, we can. That's all.
You can guarantee that this closure is temporary. No, you can't.
At this time, it is.
At this time, until after the opening, when you figure out what's gone on, how it worked, for the police or emergency services or whoever, if they like it, then yeah, it'll be permanent.
But the closure is to address the initial, what we call an initial surge for casino goers. Like any opening, whether it be a casino or a mall or any type of facility, when it opens, there is a peak interest, a new interest. And so to address that and to manage that, that's why this one-way flow has been developed, and that's why the closure has been developed. Once the casino site goes to what's called steady state, the network will be opened back up. Those restrictions will be lifted. We will have people enter the site via Squires Beach Road, or they will enter via Squires, or
But when will that be?
Well, at first it's going to be, right now it's a 2-week period that DRPS has identified. They're going to monitor it every day. If it's 3 days, they could open it up. If it's beyond the 2 weeks, that will be analyzed every day. There will be meetings with a specific group of people that involve all the, I guess, members on the steering committee to make those decision points at that time. To close a road, to stop up a road, to block a road, officially, there's a process that one has to go through. Passing a bylaw, right? Notice in the paper. If that was ever to happen, residents would be made aware of that. That's not what this is. This is a temporary closure. It's to control traffic. It's to ensure traffic's not infiltrating within the village. Casino traffic's not navigating through the village. We understand that, and we appreciate it, that there's a sensitivity to the village, right? And the roads are only so wide, the volume, etc. So the objective here is to keep the traffic to the interchanges, Westy and Brock, or Whites and Salem, and funnel the traffic south towards Bailey and have the main kind of arterial road that's going to be used to access the casino from Bailey.
24 hours a day?
The casino is a 24-hour operation. The road closure is 24 hours. It will be manned. It's not going to be it's not just going to be Jersey barriers up and that's it. DRPS is going to be manning that, I guess, barricade, for
that
lack
closure.
of a better terms. Or
yeah,
closure.
that closure. They will be ensuring that traffic patterns are as they're supposed to be set up. Only northbound traffic, southbound traffic will be stopped at the police.
Where are they gonna direct all the cars?
Ma'am, just for the sake of time, because I can appreciate that everyone may want to, and I see a lady up there with her hand up. If we can get through this, then we'll open it up to questions, and then we'll answer all your questions. Thank you.
So the second element, those were the first two elements, the one-way circulation and then the northbound traffic pattern on Church Street. The third element I wanted to mention or talk about was the shuttle services that will be in place. As I said, there are essentially two sets of shuttle services. First is a shuttle service from two remote parking lots that have been set up should there be a need for additional parking. In the opinion of all those around the stakeholder group, this is excessive or is a scenario that we will very likely not see, given the supply that is on site. So the supply that is on site is parking supply is just shy of 3,500 parking spaces, okay? The casino itself has a maximum capacity of 3,800 people. So you would have to have every single person at the casino arrive in a vehicle by themselves. That is just not the type of traffic or type of arrival pattern that you see. People arrive in groups. People arrive at least with another. So the casino will be full and will not be letting people in before the parking on site is full. So then for the need for additional off-site parking just to accommodate casino goers is good that they've set it up. It is a safeguard. It also provides casino goers an alternative if they want to drive to those remote lots and then take the shuttle service in. That relieves traffic congestion in the area. So it is a good service that they have set up, but it is a service that is not going to be relied on to ensure the safe operations around this facility, okay? So there's two lots that have been identified. There's a lot at the Pickering GO station. There's an additional lot that is underutilized. So One Toronto Gaming has secured use of that lot. Then they've also identified parking within Ajax, or Casino Ajax. So One Toronto Gaming, for those who don't know, or for those of you who don't know, also operates Ajax Casino. It's the same operator. So they want to encourage their patrons to visit both facilities. The type of gaming experience, the type of patron experience will remain unique between the two. So they feel both will offer something for specific clienteles. And so that's why they're utilizing some available parking at the Ajax Casino site right now for this shuttle service. Then a secondary shuttle service that's going to be operated, directed at all of our transit users, is they will be operating a shuttle from the Pickering GO station closer to the bus stops or bus loop and GO train platform, both at Pickering GO and Ajax GO, and that'll be for transit users. So people coming in or wanting to visit the site via or by traveling to on DRT, all of our DRT routes will terminate at one of those or will stop at one of those GO stations. You can disembark, get on a shuttle, and be brought to the site.
Likewise, if you're arriving by the GO train or GO bus.
He beat me to it. He cut me off.
Sorry. Likewise, if you're arriving by GO Transit, either via the train or GO bus, that shuttle at the GO station will also be available as well.
And
every 30 minutes is what's anticipated.
Every 30 minutes, and the provision that they could increase service to every 15 minutes. But the casino's plan right now is it'll be a 30-minute shuttle. And in order to help entice specifically some of the transit users, the shuttle will come down Church Street and will actually be permitted to travel through the southbound block closure to ensure travel time. So those will be permitted to travel through, as well as obviously emergency services. So the final piece that I'd like to talk about is the very extensive signage, monitoring, and police stationing. We've talked a little bit about it already, but we'll talk about it a little bit more right here. So the signage plan is consisting of permanent variable message signs. So the big signs you see on MTO or on the highway, on Highway 401.
The ones that overhang.
That are permanently there, those will be available to relay messages more specifically related to queuing on some of the off-ramps if there's a queuing issue. Those will be available and can be remotely triggered to help alleviate the congestion around the interchanges. Temporary or portable variable message signs are going to be deployed in the surrounding areas a little closer to the casino. So I think there's one on Brock Street, there's 2 on Bailey, there's 1 on Church, and those will be for, again, controlled remotely and be able to display messages around any potential issues on site. So if the casino gets full, the scenario I described where 3,900 people are inside the casino and it's full and they can't let anyone in, they'll be able to display those messages to road users or to people on the roads and say, the casino's full, don't try to come. So those signs will be able to be changed in real time and divert those people away from the casino. As I said, there would be direct links to the traffic control monitoring control centers, both at MTO's, what they call their Compass Center, as well as at Durham Regions, who is responsible for all of the signals in Durham Region.
We all know what the MTO Compass cameras are. We all watch CP24 and we see the traffic down there in the bottom. Those are the MTO cameras, so those will be the cameras that they have access to evaluate or analyze the traffic within the 401 series corridor.
Yep. What point am I? So then, so there'll be direct links to those centers and communication between them. There will be an extensive deployment of paid duty officers at the surrounding intersections in the road network. They will be there to help relay information to these control centers, but also to step in should there be a need for intervention, for police intervention at those intersections. So that they're there as a safeguard. They'll also be deployed at, as Jeff and I described, at the closure on Church Street to ensure that in the middle of the night, there's not a southbound vehicle that tries to move over into the northbound lane and cause a potential safety issue. So there are some locations that they will be deployed for 24 hours a day, but most of the locations they will be deployed over the peak periods. And then just for an idea of the scale, I know these images are a little bit blurry. As I said, we're working on the draft plan and they haven't given us the high res quite yet. But this is the study area that the transportation management plan considers. So we've got, for those reference, we've got Morningside in the city of Toronto on the 401. This is the far left, or Morningside. And then the far east is 412 on the 401. They're considering Kingston Road, so further around near where the black area, the little red in the middle is the casino site, that's Church Street. So you've got Kingston Road on the top, Bailey Street on the bottom. So this is an extensive network that they're considering. That's the dots the red dots are generally where the permanent message boards and the variable message boards will be deployed. And then on the bottom, you'll see the types of signage that are going to be deployed in the areas surrounding the casino. They're directional in nature. The first set on the left will be giving direction for people arriving to the casino, ensuring that they're taking, they're proceeding the right way, that they're going in the one-way circulation like they're supposed to. The middle signs you'll see has a little green P on it. So those are for if people want to go to those remote lots that have been set up, there'll be some signage on the road network directing them there. And then on the far right is regulatory signage. So signage consistent with the Ontario Traffic Manual Book 7, which is required for road closures. So that's the type of signage that will be deployed along Church Street, which will be reviewed by both the Town of Ajax and Durham Region and requires approval. So they require a permit, and both organizations, or both municipality or local municipality, regional municipality, will give approval to that plan once we're satisfied with the deployment of the signage.
So as for the communication plan, so all elements of the TMP, or the Transportation Management Plan, are currently being finalized. And any necessary approvals and agreements will have to be put in place before that traffic management plan is basically approved.
And before the casino is given the green light to open. So
Exactly.
DRPS is, in my opinion, the ones that hold the greatest level of approval authority for this at the moment. If they don't believe they can ensure public safety for that site, the site won't open. So that's why this plan has gone through the scrutiny that it has by the levels of government in this area. That's why the group meets every 2 weeks. There have been meetings where we've met in between every 2 weeks to ensure that those at the table who represent their constituents or their municipalities or their bodies that they represent are comfortable with what's being proposed. Mm-hmm. And until that sign-off is gained by all parties, the opening doesn't proceed. So.
Yeah, exactly. So when will you start seeing this signage? If this kind of initial opening of the casino is going to be kind of in early April, you could see the signage starting probably in the latter part of March. Typically, they want to have the signage out not too early, but not too late. 2 weeks is about the timeline that they would like to have the signage out. And that's just to ensure that people notice the signage, they understand what the signages mean, there's no confusion. So that's when they're anticipating for the signage to actually be installed and rolled out within the network that you saw on the previous slide.
And the 2 weeks is more specific to the road closure signage.
Right.
The more directional to the casino signage will be done in the 2 weeks leading up to opening. The first signs you'll see are the signs that talk about the closure. Like you would see for any road closure in any municipality, you have to give advance warning. You know, this road will be closed starting here, and you'll start to see the detour routing signage. So you understand what is your detour route when that road is closed. Those have to be deployed 2 weeks in advance as per regulation, as per the town's requirement. So those will be the signs that you see deployed first. And then in those 2 weeks leading up to the opening, that's when those more directional in nature, that's where the portable message boards will be set in their location. Those signs will be then deployed.
And I'm probably speaking to some of the people in here, but the town will use our IMO, or In My Opinion page, and social media platforms to share all available information related to the casino opening. So if you've been one of the residents that have submitted some questions or comments in, that'll be the same portal that you could go in and get updates on any of the information as it becomes available to the town. And that'll be the kind of the home page or the spot you would go to gather that information. You might have questions, same spot, you can ask your questions within that platform. And then once the casino opens, the town will continue to provide updates through these same methods. So through social media, through IMO, maybe other types of e-blasts or et cetera. Maybe we'll all do this again in the not too distant future to kind of update you on the future phases or other elements of this first phase. That concludes our presentation for this evening. as I mentioned at the get-go, if you want to come up to the mic and ask a question, feel free. If you want to put up your hand,
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best to keep track. If we don't have an answer to your question, it's not that we're dodging the question. It's that we don't have all the information, and we can get that for you, and we can put that through the portal. So I've been kind of told we want to try to coordinate questions through the microphone if we can. Is that what we want to do? Because we're streaming it, and so everybody can hear. Okay. Yeah, sure is.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the information thus far. From your presentation, it's not quite clear to me that the expectations for the flow of traffic going into the casino on a counterclockwise direction is temporary while opening and while construction is going on, and whether it is perhaps permanent. So my question is, has there been any consideration given to closing any access coming off from Church Street, and most particularly now Church and is it Colino, either in the near future or further future, in order to lessen the impact of all these changes to the residents of Pickering Village?
I'll speak to the closure of Colino at Church. That is the main entrance to the casino.
And will remain the main entrance?
One of the main entrances to the casino. That's not going to be closed. There eventually will be a road accessing Bailey Street that'll kind of come up north to the site before you get to Church Street, but that's kind of future phases and down the road. And maybe correct me if I'm wrong, John, but this counterclockwise circulation, that is really set up for kind of the early days of the casino operations. In the fullness of time, there'll be two-way traffic flow through and in and out of that Colino and Church Street intersection. These are the measures and the steps that are being taken in the early days of the opening of the casino, just to ensure that from the emergency services point of view, that the traffic pattern is in and around the casino is somewhat predictable, controlled. They know where they can get in and get out. That type of flow will happen. But in the fullness of time, you'll have full two-way movements in and out of that intersection and within the casino lands itself.
Hi. I'd like to know what time and what direction the traffic studies were done on all the area, because the traffic volumes are higher at rush hour, especially on Church Street. From Kingston Road down to Bailey, it's just one solid line. You cannot even make a left-hand turn at Lincoln, which we had the problem of tonight. And what days of the week did they do these traffic studies on? Because if they did the traffic study at 11 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to be the same as 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And you've got the GO traffic, the GO train people coming and going north on Church Street. You've got the people swinging from the industrial area coming up through the industrial area expecting to get up Church Street. And as far as I'm concerned, you take your life in your hands when you try and make a left-hand turn at Westney and the 401, and they're adding casino traffic to that. As far as I've been to Casino Rama for a number of years, and when you get the people coming out from the concert, you have to make sure that you leave early, because the traffic is just horrible. It's just lucky that I grew up in the area, that I know what you don't go left, you go right and go back over to 169 and then come down. Or you go through the Monk Road and come down. Because otherwise, you're not going to get out of there. And the other thing that I'm going to say is at Rama, they have a police station on site. And when they had the bomb threat last week at Casino Rama, all the people were moved from the casino over to the recreation center that the Chippewas of Rama have on site. Whereas here, closest rec center is going to be the Chestnut Hill development in Pickering. As far as I'm concerned with the traffic, Colano should be blocked off, not opened again. Pickering already closed it by a bylaw and all the other things. They should just, everybody goes up Dursan and into the casino. They put a nice little rotary in there, and that's how they get out again. And that's my opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, you guys have done nothing for the residents of Ajax. There's nobody on the counts, there's nobody on those committees that live in the village that are going to have to put up with this stuff. And you haven't looked at the big picture. You've got seniors at 22 Church Street. With all the traffic volume, their lives are going to be in danger. You've got 3 public schools in the area and 1 high school, and nobody has taken that into account.
So,
And as far as nobody, and as I say, we just get these information sessions. We have not been allowed, as I say, you need residents on your committee because we're the ones that are affected. We're the ones that are paying the taxes. We pay the taxes for these paid duty policemen. And we're not getting one little thing to say that, well, no, we don't want this. We don't want the traffic coming into the village. It's bad enough. You don't live in the village. We've lived there for over 20 odd years. And we see the traffic every day of the week. I would personally have almost been hit twice by big SUVs who've decided they're going to go over in the other lane and then come straight towards me. And all I'm driving is a little Toyota Corolla. So my husband can be saying, well, I guess we might see you in heaven. And that's personal. It's all personal experience. And that's why I'm damn well mad about what you guys have said.
so
Do you want to answer
there's multiple questions. So what I will start with is Jeff and I, so the town, we are not an approval authority for this development. This development resides solely in the city of Pickering. Church Street south of the highway is a regional road. Region of Durham controls access onto their roads. We, the town of Ajax, share your concerns about traffic infiltration into Pickering Village. We, the town, were invited to that stakeholder group and represent the town of Ajax and our concerns. So we are that voice for you.
And we have expressed at that committee the concern about traffic within the village, and equally has DRPS at those sessions as well. Very vocal
Yes.
with regard to that, and speaking to all the items that you brought up, the safety, the seniors buildings, the schools, the public spaces with St. Francis Center, etc.
Yeah.
The businesses within the area, the kids within the area, the churches within the area. Those discussions have been had around the table, and DRPS has been, frankly, hand in hand with the town on all those matters with regards to access to church, controlling access, controlling the flow of traffic within the village and out of the village.
Yeah. And so then back to your other question about the traffic analysis, what was done. There have been multiple traffic studies associated with the development that were required by the city of Pickering, the region of Durham, and the Ministry of Transportation. Those have been reviewed by experts. Those studies looked at 3 peak periods. So they looked at the AM peak period, which is 7 to 9, 7 to 10 in the morning. They look at the evening peak period, which is 4 to 6, 4 to 7 in the evening. Then they also look at a Saturday peak, which is midday, 11, 12 through 2 o'clock on Saturdays.
What roads?
Basically, the entire road network we just described to you today.
But not within the village itself.
Yes.
Yes.
So Mill Street, Lincoln.
Not the local roads within the village, but the major roads. Yes, the major roads in the area, that is a consistent practice for any traffic study in any development in any municipality. You study the major road network. You assess any local roads that have potential for significant impact. We, the town, are mindful of the local streets, Mill, Lincoln, in Rotherglen. We are very aware of the local network within the village. We will be monitoring those continuously, constantly. So the traffic studies were done to gain the approvals from those approval authorities. Once open, they are required to continue to monitor their traffic as well. If the Durham Live developers or anyone else on this site wants to continue to build this site, they will have to ensure that the impact they're having to the network is as expected. If it is greater than expected, they will be required to do additional improvements other than what have been described this evening.
And these have all been agreed to within agreements with the region of Durham with regards to the monitoring.
Yeah.
So they're
And-
continually monitoring this site.
And the city of Pickering, within the bylaw that we started this meeting with, has controls on the development of that land to ensure it is progressed in a phased approach, consistent with the improvements that are required. So there is a grand vision for that site. It is not happening right now. What is happening right now is a casino is opening with not a sea of parking, with a ample supply of parking. That is what is opening in the first weeks of April.
Okay.
Speaking of churches, I attend PPC, and I believe in one of your slides you mentioned in the 2-week period that Squires Beach is going to be southbound traffic only. My question to you is how will we access our church? Since if you're heading west on Bailey, we'd have to make a right. Or if you're coming the other way, how would we access the church if that word is now southbound traffic only?
That church, given that it is right at the intersection, access into that church is going to be maintained. So that churchgoers, the closure of northbound traffic is actually just north of the church's entrances.
Just a quick question. We can't get buses around by Mill Street. Okay. I can do better. We can get buses. We can't even get buses around by Mill Street at the moment, and all of a sudden I noticed that you mentioned that it's going to be an access route to where? Highway 2? Oh, no. Oh, Westney. And all of a sudden you're going to end up with traffic going down Lincoln to Mill. And then from Mill over to Westney. Oh, that's cutting right through our huge residential area. Are you talking about sending them up to Highway 2, which, if I remember right, it takes you about 30 minutes to get from Pickering Village down to Costco. So all of a sudden, so my suggestion is it possible to put a divider down Church Street to force the traffic to go south to Bailey?
Well,
Sorry,
like
I think you're. Sorry.
median Church Street?
Huh?
Put like a barricade,
Well,
like a Jersey barriers down the
well,
middle of Church Street?
not
From
the
Highway
whole.
2 down to the highway?
Not
Is
the
that
whole,
right?
just where people are coming out. And I also got a little bit of news for you too. If you're talking about putting a bridge over the 401 at Notion Road, you have a slight problem of a graveyard. You can't move it for 300 years by law.
Okay, let's deal with the Church Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you're.
Is there? Before we move on.
His first point was you had said that we mentioned traffic was going to be going through Mill Street to
Mill.
Westney.
Yeah.
There's no plan for that. So the closure will be a soft closure at Kingston. Traffic will be diverted at Kingston. Only local traffic during the 2-week closure period will travel south of Kingston on Church Street. And then there will be a hard closure, a point where they can't pass at Mill. So the traffic southbound during this 2-week period between Kingston and Mill will be local traffic only.
You mentioned a detour, though. Where does that detour lead people?
The detour route will take you to either Westney or Brock.
Via which road?
Kingston,
Highway 2.
Highway 2.
But if you accidentally made your way through the soft closure at Kingston and you're now on Church southbound and you hit that barricade, where are you detouring people to go?
They will be directed back to church to take
Back
the
up
detour
church.
signage.
Around there.
They're on Church,
They would be redirected
They
back
would-
north to Highway 2.
Yeah, at Mill Street, they will meet an officer who will,
Mill Street.
yes.
Okay.
Bound traffic.
Okay. You guys are asking questions next, so we'll deal with. So you had another question about.
I meant, no, it wasn't a question. That wasn't a question. That is a direct, straight statement that says if you're planning on using Notion, putting a bridge over to the 401 using Notion Road,
Okay.
you got a problem.
With regards to Notion Road, there was
We, the
an
town-
environmental assessment done. The city of Pickering has initiated that process to have Notion Road eventually fly over the 401 and connect to Squires Beach. The timing of that is well beyond.
Yeah, it's 3 to 5 years.
It's 3 to 5 years away. What the casino has indicated that no further development for phase 3, which would be a future development, can occur on that site until that connection is made.
Yeah, and we, the town, are not part of that.
Now, with
construction.
regards to the cemetery, that's been all part of the environmental assessment that was taken into consideration when they did the detailed design work.
Well, when they did the preliminary
when
design.
they did the preliminary design work for whether or not it was feasible to have Notion Road fly over the 401.
Oh, well, I hope town of Ajax is getting a bit of money out of this.
Hi, I live on Church Street, and I used to think, up to tonight, that the representatives representing us weren't doing a really good job and didn't do enough to protect the people of Ajax rather than the casino. I was wrong. It's far worse than that. We, the people who live on Church Street, particularly those who live on Church Street, but also the rest of the population of Ajax, every decision that comes up is in favor of the casino, and as far as I can see so far, none have been in favor of those either living on Church Street or anywhere in Ajax. There are just too many questions. I think you guys are doing a terrible job, frankly, for the population of Ajax. My question, it's a two-part question related to traffic on Church Street. The first is I read in the local newspaper yesterday that I think it was Mr. Arnott, who's been doing some studies, said that shuttle buses coming from Ajax Casino, the preferred route was down Kingston. Our mayor said, no, it should be down Bailey. No, they said it should be down Kingston because Kingston is more traffic-free. Can you believe that? And it's a more direct route. I think direct route was the term that he used. I'd like to know what evidence there is for that statement and who makes the decision on whether the traffic will, in fact, for shuttle buses, go down Kingston or down Bailey. The second part of the question is a more personal one. It took me 10 minutes to get onto church tonight to come to this meeting. It took me 30 minutes to come from Church Street to here because of the traffic going north. Once you add to that traffic, people in our building, and there are quite a few of them over here, don't see any way that we can get onto church going north. What do you plan, if anything, to do to help the residents of, in this case, 92 Church Street and other people trying to get onto Church Street and go north once this casino starts up.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
You don't need to thank me.
We are just the messengers here,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
you know, I don't take offense to your statements that we're doing a horrible job, but we may not be answering all the questions that, or we may not have the answers to all the questions that you have, okay? We are just passing on the information. We are part of the committee that sits and listens to the conversations that are going on. We've emphasized through that committee what our residents and what we've heard from residents and council, etc., and our own, I guess, professional opinions on how it can or how the traffic can be controlled. But we can only control the part of Church Street that we have jurisdiction over. We have no jurisdiction over Brock or Bailey in Pickering or Bailey in Ajax. These are regional roads. Westney Road is a regional road. Church Street south of the 401 is a regional road.
Excuse me, the part that we live on is in fact an Ajax road.
100%.
We have asked for lights to get us onto that road, and of course we're not going to get any.
No, they're putting them at the casino.
Yeah, because the casino is
helping the
getting them. The
casino
casino
people,
gets
but not
pretty
the
much
people who
everything
live
it
in the
asks for.
community.
But what are you guys doing to help the town of Ajax? And so far I haven't seen anything at all.
Thank you.
Now, perhaps you don't have the power. I don't know the reason for that. All I see is the results, and the results are a big fat zero.
Hi, good evening. I am a South Ajax resident, and I know that you're getting a lot of questions on traffic congestion and gridlock. So my biggest concern is gridlock. So I am also a resident that travels to the city, to Toronto and back on a regular basis. In fact, I actually leave Toronto early just so I don't have to be stuck in traffic. And my biggest concern right now is Bailey. So Bailey, for three factors. Number one, that have not been accounted for. First off, we're going into cottage country opening. So our residents and the rest of region of Durham are going to be sitting in how much more traffic to get to our homes. Secondly, when there was a flood a couple of years back, it was pure gridlock. You could not move and you were stuck. And what's going to happen if something like that was to happen again? And lastly, so cottage country, the floods, accident on the 401.
Yep.
The worst. One accident east or west, Bailey is completely backed up. Highway 2 is completely backed. There is no way to get in and out, not even through the side streets. It's complete nightmare.
Yep.
And none of this is ever addressed. The infrastructure is not in place to support these means. Secondly, my part two of this question. Within the next 10 years, the GTA is expected to be 13.5 million people. How are we going to support infrastructure, gridlock, and everything else that goes with it?
Within the GTA?
To get within the GTA, we're going to have 13.5 million people. I have economic proof studies to show that. So we know that most of those people will move to the 905 zones. So with knowing that, how are people supposed to get around? How are people going to get around when this is all that we're providing for them? That's just not enough. And then you've got on top of it, throw a casino, performance center, everything else. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, like the traffic that you're talking about, the way to commute around is not going to support the means.
So the way we showed this evening is the temporary solution for the opening. It will then revert to a full network. To deal with growth, there is the Province of Ontario's Places to Grow Act that establishes required infrastructure. There's the region's transportation master plan. There's the town's integrated transportation master plan.
As well as the city of Pickering's.
As well as the city of Pickering's integrated transportation master plan. There are master plans that have identified that we are in an area where there is going to be significant population and employment growth over the next 15 to 20 years.
Exactly.
And there is infrastructure in those plans for that growth.
And there are capital projects in budgets that are anticipated to be realized to support the growth.
I'm sorry, I
Now-
just have to
now-
interrupt that because that's what they said 10 years ago. That's what they said 15 years ago. And yet, the only thing that we see as residents, that it takes even longer to get home. It takes even longer to get around town.
I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, I live in Ajax too. Yeah, it does. Bailey, starting, I don't know, start at Easter. 245, just go drive over the highway or go on Bailey Street. Gridlock. These are the comments that John and myself had, those exact same, Mrs. Patel. I think the first meeting we had was, it's going to be crazy out there. Do you know how bad Bailey is starting at like 1 o'clock on a Friday of a long weekend? The highway is jammed at 10:40. The highway is jammed at 10:45. And this is why there's so many agencies involved in this: OPP, DRPS, MTO, using all the tools that they have to understand where the traffic's coming from, where the log jams are, those type of things. We are like we're like this way at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to decision makers and having authority to make decisions on certain components of this plan, okay?
So where are the people who have the authority? Why are they not here?
Because that's a good question.
Can you put those people on your website so that we can email or write them? And not vote for them ever?
John, are we going to be having contact?
Absolutely. We will have you'll see on the answers that have started to roll out onto our page, we have directed you to the City of Pickering's websites, to their pages where the approvals have taken place.
They don't.
Okay, hold on. Look, there's a bunch of people that want to answer questions, so we will be providing, or we have already, connections or contact information to those that you would need to get in touch with to get more detailed answers to your questions with regards to what Pickering's doing, or what the region of Durham's doing, or what MTO's doing, or what DRPS is doing. We only have the information here for the town of Ajax. We're passing on the information that we know at this particular point in time. Ma'am?
Okay. I've been a resident here for over 30 years, almost 38 years. Now, I live at Westney and 2. I've lived through all the construction that has gone on since Westney was a dirt road. In fact, didn't even open up at 401. It was Church Street. You've answered one of my questions because you two are here tonight representing the town of Ajax.
That's correct.
You said you live in Ajax. Do you live in Ajax?
No, I do not.
Okay. So you don't truly understand all of our concerns, requirements as residents, traffic flow, everything. We know, yes, but you...
Sorry, I would disagree with that.
Okay.
I'm a town of Ajax employee
Yes.
whose sole responsibility is to oversee the transportation planning elements of the
Okay,
town.
But you two, and I'm not being nasty about it, but you two representing Ajax has no authority in this casino bit, which you said.
Right.
You two are at the very bottom of the totem pole.
Yep.
So no matter what we're asking for to be considered, more than likely, nobody cares. They don't care. They're closing Church Street. Now, it is temporary
Yes.
Yes.
to Mill Street. Well, that's what
they Yes.
They
We
say.
don't know.
Now, that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Who are local residents for the use of Church Street? Who do the police, is it every Ajax resident? Or is it anybody who just lives directly on Church Street? Who do they consider a local resident?
And how do they stop anybody?
That's right,
Because
Marcia.
the
How do they
traffic-
stop anybody?
Traffic is gonna come down.
That's
and go
right.
up to Mill.
Am I supposed to pull out
Good
my
question.
driver's license and say, hey guys, I live in Ajax, but because I don't live on Church Street or directly in the village, am I not allowed to use the street? If I want to go to Marcia's place, can I get there? Because she has a business on Church Street,
Right.
but I'm not allowed to drive on it. Like, yeah, am I gonna have to go into those too? Anyways, that's my concern. I'm just saying, honestly, the people from the casino should have been here tonight, because it's not your responsibility to answer those questions.
Thank you.
Our understanding was this was a meeting with all concerned parties tonight for us to ask, which unfortunately has been downloaded onto YouTube to address our concerns.
And I apologize if that's the information you were given. The intent of this evening was always for town staff to provide residents with information, to tell you that we have set up our website. We will be loading it with as much information that we can, with contact information, with access to whatever we can do. We are here to help you understand. We, sitting at the stakeholder meetings that we have over the last 3 months, we had a concern that our residents weren't hearing this information. So that is why we set up this evening.
Okay.
As for
But
approvals,
what we need you to come and tell us, you need to come back and tell us who is a local resident who can drive on Church Street.
We'll take that
Whether you-
information down.
Please.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
That.
Yeah.
And the other thing, my last comment in general is, you say all the traffic studies have been done. I've lived through all the widenings of Westing Road. Traffic studies, I'm sorry, are BS. They don't follow the traffic studies at the time they need to be done. I don't know who did them, and I can tell you, I have argued against every traffic study since the day I've lived in this town for widening of roads, because they're not appropriate. All right, that's my comments.
Thank you.
thank you.
Who are the stakeholders you refer to on your cover page of your presentation? It's for Ajax residents and stakeholders. Who are those stakeholders? And when
Yourselves.
Well, it could be
Like, we're-
business. It could be business owners within the
Yeah,
community.
So aren't the stakeholders all those people you just listed? You were saying you meet with the stakeholders.
No. We meet with
That's the
agencies and departments and other provincial entities. Stakeholders are businesses within the town,
Is it the
other community groups,
casino?
schools.
To the casino?
No, the casino's not a stakeholder in this particular session. You know, if we were to interpret that, they may be a stakeholder in the operation of the casino. Ma'am, we got people lined up, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You mentioned a soft opening. What does a soft opening plan look like? And does the greater committee that you exist or are part of oversee or work together with the builder to ensure that the transportation revisions around the area align with the soft opening?
That's
Because
exactly.
you mentioned it could take up to 18 months to finish these transitions. Well, if the soft opening is going to be gradual, but it's going to be done, and that casino is going to be fully open in 3 months or 6 months, but the builder is not committed to a relegated or a dedicated plan to have certain parts of this open to help control the traffic, we got a bigger problem.
Let me talk about the soft opening piece first, and then you can talk about the
Sure.
traffic stuff.
Yep.
So what we understand the soft opening is that they're not just going to be like, come one, come all, they're on 680 News, we're open. Like, it's going to be select groups of people, VIP, etc. You know, maybe it's, you know, certain businesses or vendors that help construct or build the casino, and those will be by invitation only. That's why their big kind of splash opening isn't going to happen until much later from the April date.
Yeah. Is there a plan that your transportation program or revisions can align with, so that the construction of the transportation and the get this finished, we're moving along at the same
Right.
pace. It should align.
Yeah,
If you don't have a
and-
plan on your soft
So right now,
opening,
the region
how
of
can
Durham-
you align
But
with the
also
transportation changes?
those improvements were identified through the studies for the complete build of the first phase. So it took into account any traffic that is generated from the hotel and the Performing Arts Center as well. So we have a network. Those improvements to the network are for that entirety of traffic. That's not what is opening
On day one.
in April. Those plans also take into account background growth, so growth of other developments. And the fact that we're speaking in a small window, an April month window, that growth that is built in for security reasons, for projection reasons, it just isn't there in a short 1 month window. So the general consensus around the table for the opening is that we have a network that will be in place that can support what traffic is going to be generated from the casino site. Those other improvements are coming along and will be in place or are trying to be put in place as quickly as possible to address when the other openings happen. And as we stated when we presented those, that given they are all on regional roads, it's the region's ultimate authority to speed them up or slow them down. We know they are working with the developer to get them in as quickly as possible because everyone agrees they need to be done.
We wouldn't let any other site plan go forward without the traffic improvements and the turning movements all in place before the soft opening occurs. Why is the casino getting it to do it in advance?
It's, you know what? Great question.
Great question.
In the town of Ajax, we would assure that wouldn't happen. But this isn't in the town of Ajax. This is in the city of Pickering. So, I mean,
And if we look at Kingston Road and how
and sir, if you have a question, jump in line and we'll get to you, okay?
I live in the immediate area, just north of Church Street, between Church and Lincoln Avenue tends to be like a mini 401 at times.
It's a cut-through area.
And I'd like to know if the town has considered traffic calming throughout that subdivision, because we are directly affected by traffic already that cuts through from Church Street over to Westney to get to the highway. I would strongly
Absolutely.
suggest it, because that school on Lincoln Avenue is immediately in that area,
Yep.
and you have no idea what I've seen. I've lived in that area for 16 years.
Well, Lincoln and St. Francis.
I agree, but
Yep.
Lincoln Avenue is
For
like
sure.
a roadway at times.
Yep.
Okay?
Absolutely, we can. So the town annually looks at between 40 and 60 roads in the town for traffic calming. We can absolutely look at Lincoln and all the Rotherglen Mill, all of them,
Yeah.
the roads in that area, and assess them.
Yeah. Lincoln and Mill would be the two key ones.
As
that
a
belong.
plug for next week, we're actually updating our traffic calming warrant. We have a public open house next Wednesday. You can come see what we're proposing for our warrant, and we will use that new warrant to do those assessments. And if there are needs for traffic calming, we will absolutely have them installed. We at the town take traffic calming seriously. There is annual budget that is set aside for traffic calming measures to ensure, we do what we can to ensure safety of our residents.
Yep.
It's absolute importance to us.
I have
the
one
town.
more comment. 2 weeks of signage is not enough anywhere in that area. You need to have signs up a lot sooner than that. People don't read signs, and if they're not through that area on a regular basis, they're not going to remember when they went through that sign what happened again. You're going to have a lot of, I think it should be up more than 2 weeks before that. I think
And
that's
I would,
fair.
from a professional opinion, I would generally agree. And we've passed that along. It's usually closure signage from a general perspective is 2 to 4 weeks. There's a happy medium kind of in that time frame. 4 weeks tends to be a little long because people will start to ignore the sign. 2 weeks is kind of they will.
It's a debate we had around the table.
The size
But-
of this project
but I-
and the
I
number
wholeheartedly
of
agree.
traffic,
They need to be- they-
traffic areas that are affected.
Yeah.
I think 4 weeks is a very good timeline.
They need to. I agree. They need to be up as
Thank
soon
you.
as they can be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. You were saying that for the parking, there's 3,500 spots?
About 3,800, I think.
38?
Yeah.
Is that including parking for your, was it 2,500 seat venue?
Yes. So on site, the two parking structures, parking structure 1, parking structure 2, are just over 2,700 parking spaces. They're 6 stories each. They have 2,700 parking, just over 2,700 parking spaces. The 2 surface lots you see are 300 on the west side or the left side of the screen, 800 on the right side of the screen. All of those parking numbers are built in mind with this full site opening. So the 2,500 seat arena, the casino, and the hotel.
So you can have, how many people can go into the casino?
It's 3,800, something around those lines is their legal capacity.
But you can then have 2,700 people in the arena. It's not
2,500 people in the arena.
right.
Yep.
So if you were saying like with the parking, it sounds like there's probably not going to end up being enough parking. How is that going to be impacting commuters that are now using both GO train stations? And will there be specific parking for people using GO train, or how are they going to be regulating that?
There's no change to the GO parking. The GO parking is for GO commuters. There's the one lot that I mentioned is on the, if you know the Pickering GO station, it's on the extreme east side. It's a lot that's not used right now, and that's being set up for this shuttle service.
Yeah.
From a pure parking number, for estimating parking numbers, there is industry standards on how you estimate for these facilities, given their uses and their proximity to each other. You know, the visitors of the hotels are highly likely to be visiting the casino or going to the arena. So you wouldn't double count them. And then the arena goers are also going to be patrons, more than likely, or a large portion of them are going to be patrons of the casino. So to simply add all the numbers and say that's how much parking you need would be an overestimation. What they do is they apply a rate, and these rates are well within the industry standard. They were peer reviewed multiple times by many levels of government, and were accepted as providing sufficient supply for what's proposed there.
Okay.
Does that include employee parking?
Yes.
Yes.
Just making sure.
When you have like an event at the arena, what provisions are in place for when there's the mass exodus at the end of the concert or performance?
We're not the operators of the site, so
Yeah.
we don't know.
And just a further comment for the gentleman that was seated over there.
Yes.
It's pretty poor planning when you're playing catch-up and doing all of the infrastructure for the roads and everything else when you're like weeks away from opening. It should be done the other way around, where all of the roads and things are sorted out, and then you get the building permission.
As Jeff said, in the town of Ajax, that's how we operate.
It should be a province of Ontario regulation.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I realize it's in Pickering. There's a huge impact on Ajax roads, whether it's Bailey, whether it's coming off the 401.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ajax getting any money from this?
No,
Not a dime.
not that I'm aware of.
Who's paying for all of the infrastructure improvements?
Durham Live.
The ones that we described this evening?
The casinos.
The
The
Durham Live,
operators.
the operator.
So the widening of the roads, if there has to be...
All the casino operator. They're paying for everything.
So the biggest impact from this is going to be on Ajax, because they're going to come off the highway, they're going to go along Bailey, they're going to get to the casino, and we don't get anything out of it. Because I live in South Ajax. I can't even imagine trying to get across Bailey, to get to a store, to get even across. People don't stop where they're supposed to, and they end up blocking intersections. It's going to be even worse. So how do I get to North Ajax? How do I get that ambulance from me, which is north of Bailey, down to me? Is there any provision for any of this? No. I mean, it's not your responsibility. I realize that. But has any of this been expressed to the developer?
100%. I mean, we have EMS, DRPS, we have emergency services around the table, Pickering Fire, Ajax Fire. These are all, The emergency services for Durham Region have, have led us to this traffic management plan. This is why we're here communicating that.
Anybody
If
from
they weren't
South
in-
Ajax?
Pardon me?
Anybody from South Ajax, south of Bailey, represented on any of these committees?
Well, I live in South Ajax.
Well, and the emergency services are well aware that
Yeah.
that's where the location of the hospital is.
And we've been communicating with our
our
chief and deputy chiefs, communicating with them the information that we're bringing back, letting them know this information, how they should prepare for it. They've been communicating with their counterparts in Pickering. So, I mean, John and myself, as the transportation planner and planner for the town, that's not our, we're not professionals in those fields, but we have heard around the table that DRPS, ambulance, EMS, they have concerns. They want to make sure that the roadways are clear. That's why they've deployed as big of a kind of checkpoint system with paid duty police officers during the opening early days of the casino to control the traffic, to ensure that people can get the ambulance. If there is a fire, if there is a accident on the 401, these are all scenarios that we've discussed around the table, right?
And the one other element that I don't think has been mentioned this evening is that the entire cost of this plan is borne by the developer, or is borne by the operator of the casino. So the cost of the paid duty officers, the cost of the signage, all of that. There's no taxpayer dollars being used for that.
From Ajax.
From Ajax, well, or from the city of Pickering. This plan is getting itemized, and there's a list, and there's costs, and then the casino operator is getting a bill, and they will be paying for the entire cost of this. There's no tax dollars being used for this. Sorry.
Future wear and tear on the streets.
Bailey's bumping
Well,
out.
I mean, these are regional roads. I'm sure the region has a concern over, the wear and tear of the roads. They'll have to assess that. That'll be part of the monitoring as improvements are made within the road system, budgets, etc. Their capital program will have to deal with that in the future.
I hate to I just need to.
Yes, go for it. I saw,
I'm trying to be polite. I put my hand up first, and then you decided you're going to the mic.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did too.
We have been trying to work with the town for 2 years at 92 Church Street. My concern about the costs and the traffic, it's gonna hurt. Church Street is now being used for all the trucks taking stuff in and out to the casino. I know the town has tried for the last year to get those trucks stopped. We didn't succeed. They come every day. We take pictures. We're sending them to the region. The trucks and the shuttles are now going to be going down Church Street. Our roads are going to be affected, coming from the casinos, coming down Church Street. Yes, we live in Ajax, but our taxes, the Durham portion of our taxes, or the regional portion, we're going to pay more money, and we have no say in much of it. I feel sorry for you too. You are the voice. I've been there. I know what that's like. But I also think we need to go quicker. You said one question, you're taking many, and there's a lot of people that
All
aren't
right,
lined up.
let's do it. Let's go faster then.
Let's go.
All right.
I'll time it.
You had your one question, ma'am.
Okay, everybody in the corner had more.
And for any of those, if you aren't able to ask, if you have more than one question, please send them to us.
And
this is
we're not running away at 8 o'clock. We're going to be here, hang out. If you have other questions, feel free to approach us, okay?
Or send them directly to
All right,
us
great.
on our website or
All right,
via our emails.
I'm going to have to be a real breaker because I probably have a follow-up question. But I wanted to start, first of all, by saying I don't envy you guys being up there tonight. Thank you for doing it. But I'm a resident of Mill Street, and if I understand the plan correctly, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, right now you're forcing all southbound Church Street traffic onto Mill Street. Is that correct?
That's not the intent of the plan.
Well, where else are they going to go?
They will be diverted before they get to Mill
No,
Street.
we live at 92 Church. We're not before.
So I'm talking people who are coming from Ontario Power Generation,
That's
the
northbound traffic.
warehouses. Yeah, northbound, that's what I mean, northbound.
Okay.
on
Northbound
Church.
traffic continues. There's no closure of northbound traffic.
It's just us trying to go
But,
south.
but,
And this is only for 2 weeks.
okay, so
And then
have
we
you-
go back to
Okay.
as if there was no closure.
Fair enough. The traffic on Mill Street right now is already horrendous. We
Yes.
brought in traffic calming. It's still horrendous. We still have people going at excessive speeds. They ignore the stop signs. This casino development and is just going to increase that dramatically. I'm concerned that you haven't done any traffic counts on Mill Street, and I'd encourage you to do some traffic counts on Mill Street prior to the opening, and then during the opening as well, to see what kind of beat in traffic has occurred. Because I do think it's going to be dramatic. I'm not opposed to the casino. It's going to bring a lot of good things to our region as a whole, but I'm really concerned about the traffic, the volume, and the speed of the traffic on Mill Street and the other streets that lead out to Westney and then to the 401.
Absolutely, and we will absolutely be doing that. My department is responsible for the data collection for the town. We did extensive counts on Church Street this past fall, so
And
we
how
have
about
data
Mill?
for.
But you haven't done it on
How
Mill
about
Street.
Mel?
I would have to check my database, but I would suspect we have been there within the last 2 years, which is in the industry is in a generally acceptable time frame.
Right.
And we will, if we need to do a pre-count, we will do what we can.
Okay.
And we will absolutely do monitoring. Post-monitoring is going to be one of the things that my group does in that area this spring. Absolutely. We know we have to. I've been directed by the mayor to make sure it happens. We share your concerns. We want to ensure that, so we've looked at the traffic studies and it says a certain number. As a traffic professional, I accept the conclusions, but I'm going to still check them. So that is what I'm doing this spring. I will have counts in those neighborhoods. I'll have counts on Church Street to ensure that if you said it was A, it's A. Or if you said it, it's going to be 100 or whatever number you want to call it. If you said it was going to be this, it is this. And if it's not, then we have a problem. And we will address that. That, as we said, this developer, this site is responsible for those monitoring and those impacts. They will not be able to proceed any further. And I'll tell you right now, they want to.
And that's not just at our level either. That's at the
region
regional
is holding
level
to
as
the
well.
same thing.
We'll be monitoring
The
their
province
roads.
is holding, or the MTO is holding to the same thing. They will not be able to proceed past what they have until they can prove that we said X was going to happen when we opened the casino, and it is that.
So that's why, and I appreciate it, I hope that what I'm hearing from you is that you've either done some counting on Mill Street or you will prior to the opening, and then you'll do it again during the opening because, again, I think it's very likely the traffic is going to go up in a significant fashion.
In the immediate opening, there should be very little increase in traffic because all casino traffic will be diverted to Squires Beach.
Okay.
And Bailey.
Fair enough.
And then down to Bailey.
Okay,
So
thank you.
In the very immediate, I would be surprised to see people then do the loop around again and continue on north. But that's off point.
We'll find
We
out.
will do monitoring in that neighborhood, absolutely.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
again.
Hello. I share Dawn's gratitude for you being here tonight. I'm Laura McBride. I live on Hiley Avenue, just the elbow off of Mill Street Extension. And I just wanted to, Dawn sort of asked one of my questions about the traffic calming on Mill, but before we moved to the village, we actually lived just behind here. And the traffic calming that was put along Achilles, I believe, was done to alleviate the same type of problem when the exit to Salem and the redevelopment of the downtown
Oh, like
happened.
when Harwood was closed and they opened up
That's
the
right.
interchange
So
at-
what they did was they put a boulevard down the center of Achilles to
Yeah.
prevent traffic going between Salem and Harwood from turning into the neighborhood to get through.
Mm-hmm.
And I would suggest that doing something like that along Church Street to prevent traffic from using Mill Street and Lincoln Street as commuter lines to get through to Westney would be ideal. I mean, I'm on Hiley, and I've already started to see an increase in traffic up our street, which doesn't really go anywhere,
It's
Just
kind of
because
a
people
super
are.
back way.
That's right.
cut
It's a
around.
super back way. But
I don't know if that's a
I
technical
share.
term.
I don't think it is.
Well, I'm sure that the traffic experts have ways. Like roundabouts are options, right? There's a lot of boulevard at that Mill Street sort of entrance where the church is. Like there's ways
Or
of
the
widening
old-
that
yeah.
to put a nice roundabout and really divert traffic. I would love to see that there are studies being done. I share Don's hope that it's going to be done before the opening and during, so that those counts. I mean, I have 2 boys that live in the village. One thing I will say, because there hasn't been a lot of positive, is that the casino will bring a lot of jobs to the area. And in answer to Ms. Patel's question about traffic coming from Toronto, one of Ontario's biggest plans is to create jobs in the 905 areas so that the traffic isn't constantly going into the city and back out to get to work. The Metrolinx has just passed 4 new stops, 2 new in Oshawa, Curtis, and Bowmanville, so that will open up the appeal for those eastern areas and help divert traffic that way. So if the jobs are in Ajax or Pickering, people might tend to live east and alleviate some of that Toronto traffic. So there is plans in place with the province and the region. It just takes time.
Yes. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have a question. I live at 92 Church Street. The traffic already.
Just, ma'am, just because we're streaming live, just speak into the
I
microphone.
live at 92 Church Street.
Thank you.
And you're saying we're not going to be able to make a right turn. We're going to have to make a left turn when we want to get out of our condo.
For a temporary.
Are you saying
period
it
of
is
time.
going to only be temporary?
That's all we know
Because-
right now. It's temporary based on a 2-week time period. That's all we know right now based on what DRPS has indicated to us.
And as Jeff said, if the road was to be permanently closed, that's an entire
Other
different
process.
approval process. The approvals they will be
A
granted.
public process.
The road occupancy permit that they will be granted for the closure has a time limit to it.
Even for the 2 weeks, you're saying the number of people that are going to be coming from the casino going north on Church Street, do you realize now we have to wait sometimes 7-8 minutes to get out of our driveway to make a left turn? Now we're going to have double the traffic coming down?
So.
And then we've also got a school there and a nursery school.
Yep.
Okay?
The
Now,
So, for
what
the-
happens when that traffic, all the casino traffic comes down our street, which a lot of them are going to do, we already know that. What happens to people like us? There's 144 units in that building. And I go every day, I make a left turn out of that building, so now I'm going to have to reroute. That's fine if it's only going to be for 2 weeks. But if it's going to be longer than that, sometimes I take a chance just getting out there to make a left turn. And now the traffic is going to be double, maybe triple. How are you going to handle that?
Handle that.
What is the benefit of
so-
not allowing us to go south?
Pardon me?
What is your benefit or benefit to anyone of not allowing people who currently live south of Highway 2,
Yep.
between there and Mill Street, we can't go south?
Okay, so.
What is the benefit of that, though? You said it's a soft closing.
No,
it's a
so
it's-
the
yeah.
benefit, the closure was initially requested or spoken about from regional police. They want to ensure that they can safely
Access the site.
in the opening period.
Access the casino.
Yes.
Correct.
What about those of us who need to go south and east? How are we going to do that? South and west.
During the 2-week time period, you're not going to be able to go south and west. You're going to have to go north and west.
You
I go
can't
south
assure
and
us
west
it's going to
every
be
day.
2 weeks.
So for the 2-week time period, you're going to have to, I'm assuming you're going to have to change your travel pattern.
But you can't assure
Unfortunately.
us that
How?
it's
The
only
only
going
way
to
I
be 2
can do it
weeks.
then is to go through Mill Street.
Well, you can go back up to Highway 2, right?
Again, getting a left turn out of
I understand that, but it's temporary.
Can you assure us
Temporary
that?
stoplights.
You can't assure us that it's going to be temporary, can you?
No, they won't.
all we know is it's 2 weeks, temporary closure. That's what the information we have right now.
And as we said, any permanent closure would have to go
Go
through,
through a public
completely
process.
separate process.
Yeah. We can take that back. We can take that back.
That is a
we can
wonderful
take that
idea.
back.
We can absolutely
For sure.
pass that along.
Mine's quick. Yeah. I'd just like to know when the opening is, when the 2-week closure is going to start, because I understand, heard today that you have 2 more weeks to finalize the safety plan, and the casino can't open until the safety plan is approved by everybody, that they're assured that it's safe. And then you need 2 weeks to get your signage out. So, and I've heard the first week in April, early April, first full week in April, midweek of the first week. So I'm just trying to pin it down to a date.
We're trying to do the exact same thing. The casino operator, the most they have told us is the first full week of April.
And
that
midweek. So that would be
and
like
midweek.
leading up to East, somewhere in that block leading up to Easter.
And that's the date they've told us. They've said tentative April 8th, which is the Wednesday of that.
So that would be April 8th, yes, okay.
Tentative.
But they haven't said that that's their date yet. So we're 100% on the same boat as you. We want the date because I agree with you. My timeline, okay, April 8th, 2 weeks before that is this. You know,
we're doing the math
We're
too.
doing the math for right along with you. We have a meeting with them next Wednesday, and
talk
I
about.
will be first to say, okay, you know, where's the you need to submit your permit application. We need to approve it. We need a certain amount of time to do that. Then you need to deploy your signs, and we're running out of weeks. We are 100% behind you in that concern.
Okay, so my takeaway from this then is that the earliest date that it probably would open would be April 8th. There is a possibility it will be a little bit later than that as well. If things go tickety-boo, it'll be probably April 8th, and if not, it'll be a little bit later than that.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Hi, I just have a couple of questions. They should be pretty quick. One was about the parking structures. You said there's going to be 2, and was it 6 stories?
Yes, there are 2. Then they're
Okay.
both
There are
6
2.
stories.
And they're both going to be 6 stories?
Yes.
Okay.
They're both built to 6 stories right now. They're done. They're finished. What you see is the finished height of the structure.
Okay, and then the 2 tall towers, you said those are elevator shafts for the...
Yeah, the big wide one is the elevator shaft. The 2 little ones off to the side are actually the staircases.
Oh, okay.
So that massive crane that's out there right now is lifting the steel
to build the
hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then the other question I had was, what are the operating hours of the casino?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's a problem. Okay, and then the arena, is there a target date for when that'll be open?
They're anticipating towards the end of 2020, maybe into 2021
What they've told us is Q4
of this
of
year.
2020.
Okay, so probably this year. Okay, so the way I see it, the problem that we have here is that the casino and the whole site is in Pickering, but it's an ideal site for Pickering, but all the impacts are going to be on people who live in Ajax. So, I mean, to me, Pickering kind of has us over a barrel because we get to deal with all the impacts of it. They get to have a casino and all the revenue and the rest of it that goes along with that. And of course, we have no say in really what goes on there because it's in Pickering. So, like, we're really in an enviable position from that point of view. And then my last question was just, do they have any idea as far as who the patrons will be of the casino? Like, will it be primarily people in Durham, or are they anticipating it'll be people from the GTA? Like, I just wondered, do they have any ideas about that, or?
It'll be a draw from across the GTA or further.
Yeah, they would say it's a large center, so it will draw from a large area.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Was the casino invited to come tonight? And the mayor and all other...
They were more than welcome to come if they wanted to come.
Were they invited to come and speak as part of this?
Through our future discussions leading up to this, no one said you had to come. We said we're having this session. Residents will be here. Information will be conveyed. Here we are.
Are we sending the live stream to our MPP?
Yes.
Hi. I actually just wanted to shed maybe a little bit of a positive light. I have 3 kids. My family all grows up here. I've run events for over 15 years, and I could never run events in Durham because there's no spaces to do that. And I know with growth, there comes a lot of strain, but I feel like if we have the town of Ajax behind us and rallying for us and making sure that we're not going to be impacted in the negative way by traffic, I feel like this Durham Live itself can bring a lot for us as residents, because there are no spaces for our kids to go to. There are no entertainment hubs. The fact that they called it an entertainment center instead of a casino gives me hope that they're gonna do something that is family focused, or have centers, or have incubator programs for youth. Like, there is gonna be a positive light. Instead of us focusing on the traffic, let's focus on what they can do to help us as families that are now living here. It's mostly families that live here now. What are they gonna do for us with our families? Instead of it being like a casino, why can't it be like something where we can grow our families into as well? Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so my question's basically around the shuttles. So I read in the newspaper that the shuttles are going to run along Kingston Road, and the reasons for that is because the bus lanes, dedicated bus lanes. The bus lanes end at Rotherglen, going westbound, and they end eastbound at Notion Road. So that's untrue. And that's going to put a strain, and then we're allowing them, if I understand correctly, the regional road is south of the 401 on Church Street, and it's an Ajax Road north of the 401 going southbound?
Yes.
Okay. Why are you allowing the shuttles to go down Church Street? Because you have control over that. That is an Ajax Road. Northbound on Church Street is an Ajax Road. So shuttles should not be coming down Church Street. We have schools. We have tourist buses that are probably going to come. You have to set the boundaries about where these shuttles and these buses can go when you own the road. So I understand you don't have control over regional. Get it. But you have controls over decisions about our Ajax roads.
Go ahead.
So the shuttles, as I stated, they're a 30-minute headway.
Doesn't matter. They're still using an Ajax road.
And our mayor expressed the concern. We've passed the concern again onto the committee.
But help me understand. These are Ajax roads. So why is the committee...
That's one segment of a
Understood.
road in Ajax.
Understood.
Yes.
But why do we not have a bigger say as it relates to the shuttles? I'm talking shuttles.
John just said it. We've conveyed that information onto the group.
So that's
The
good. You
mayor's
guys have
conveyed
done
that
that. Who's next? Who's above you guys? Who's above you guys to speak about these shuttles that are adding to the traffic that's been bad enough? But with all the schools and the senior buildings that's there, you guys have control over these shuttles not going down Church Street. There is no bus lanes from Rotherglen.
Yep.
We've
Notion
said the
Road.
exact same thing.
I get it. I know you guys have said it. Who's higher than you that's saying it?
The mayor expressed his concerns.
Okay, expressed. Help me again. Expressed. These are Ajax roads.
Can he not say no?
So, yeah, I don't understand.
What's the mayoral authority? I'm not white.
Who's above the mayor? Is he
a regional chair?
Okay.
Your provincial MP, your federal MPP.
So in other words, Pickering has decided this casino. We have no say in anything as it relates to our Ajax roads as traffic. But why do we not have say about shuttles? Shuttles are a private decision by the casino. They're hiring them. They're paying for them. Why are we suffering for those shuttles? That could go to every 15 minutes. And how many shuttles are there? How many shuttles have been bought?
I don't know. What we do know is that this plan hasn't been finalized yet, and we do have a meeting next week, as John mentioned, the discussion about maybe putting a paid duty officer at 92 Church intersection. We'll take the shuttle along Highway 2 coming down Church Street back to the committee again, It seems to be kind of a theme here tonight, so we'll take that back to the committee again, and we'll put that forward.
Yeah, but
to
who
them.
is invited to those meetings to have a say from a resident perspective?
It's internal staff. It's City of Pickering, MTO, DRPS, OPP, EMS, Fire from Pickering and Ajax.
Who are the decision makers from Ajax that will be at?
Yeah, so who's above the mayor?
You've heard it.
We're there.
Yeah, we will be there.
Is the mayor there?
No.
No, elected
No,
rep-
no
it's
elected
sta- it's a
officials are at
staff-
this. It's a
Okay,
staff.
so you guys will take this back. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how do we get the answers to all our questions?
We will
I know
put
that
it
goes
on
a site.
IMO once
That's
we
a
know what
wonderful
the
thing that
answers
it's on
are.
a site. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But before you make a decision and before the casino's allowed to get their permit to open, who has the final say? You guys?
For a permit to open?
Well, the fact is, some of these things you're saying, they haven't come and got their permit yet for the soft opening, closing the road, all that whole transportation.
Oh, the road.
The whole road thing, this whole plan.
So
The safety plan has to be passed.
that
Right.
traffic management plan has to be approved first
By who?
by the group,
committee.
the committee.
How many in that committee are actually from Ajax or Pickering? Just the
So
two?
no,
Yeah.
and
We- and
Durham
there's
Region
Durham
Police
Region
have
Police.
their West Division.
How
They're
many
like
are from Pickering?
There's a
three
few
staff.
staff members, transportation staff, planning staff, engineering staff are on the committee, which they've expressed a lot of the same concerns with regards to impacts on their roads within their municipality as well.
They make a lot of money.
I think they make more noise than Ajax does.
So just help me out. How do I find out about the shuttles? Who's going to be able to tell me that you guys have gone to bat, the mayor's gone to
Well,
bat?
I think what
everybody's gone to bat?
what we've mentioned this evening, that any information, updated information, will be put on the town's IMO portal. So and out through social media. So I would recommend that you check back onto the town's website, and then that's where information will become available as it becomes available to
You
us.
guys will take it back about the
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I have a question that nobody's brought up. I live just off of Church on Christina, and since they put the bike lanes on Church Street and made it one lane each way instead of two each way, people now use that turn lane, that center lane, as a third lane. So northbound into the village from Brock is stopped, from Bailey, at 3 till 4 for OPG traffic coming straight through. People now use that turn lane as an express almost from Mill all the way to either Linton or Highway 2 as an express lane. So say I'm coming
To make a left or to
just to
or
go
to
straight
get
up.
straight
They
through.
figure, hey, I'm just gonna use this. They're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of my street, so the first guy's very nice. He stops to let me out. I get my nose out. The idiot's coming up the middle lane. He's not allowed to. I'm gonna get clobbered. Why do we have bike lanes already on a street that's congested, and now we're gonna have all the casino people? You even think a bicycle is gonna be safe on Church Street anymore? Like, I've seen one person on that bike lane. Exactly. That's why we got the bike lanes, for the mayor. Nobody else is using them. Have we looked at getting rid of that bike lane and making it 2 lanes through the village again, so it's safe that we don't get clobbered making a left out of our own street? That's all my question is. Can we get rid of that stupid bike lane so I am safe?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, one person uses a bike lane. Stupid.
So the bike lane is part
I'm
of
gonna
our
use the shuttle when
active
I live there.
transportation network as a whole around town. It was a link that was built many years ago. As for converting it back, it would have to be a study that is done. And it is a study that can be done.
When we get clobbered coming out of our street, we can have a study. Oh, she got killed coming out of the street because somebody used a lane that they shouldn't have been using.
And if they're not using, that's an enforcement issue, and that's also something we can.
There's never a cop around when they're doing it.
But that's something that we can take away from this evening and pass along to our counterparts at DRPS to tell them that our residents are telling us that during the evening rush hour or the afternoon rush hour, people are illegally using the center lane. That is something that's information that we are hearing from our residents that we will absolutely pass along.
Okay, and the other
Because-
comment for Mill Street is everybody coming down says, oh, it's backed up through, I'm gonna go through Mill Street. So I don't envy you living on Mill Street. That's my comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's been more police, like, are there more police jobs going to be coming to Durham Region or West Durham because of the casino?
Okay, so I live on Church Street, and I sympathize with you guys because I'm in insurance, so I have to defend and deflect everything the companies do, and yeah, take it all. Anyway, the traffic coming down Church Street starts at 5 a.m. and it's solid because everybody in the north wants to get to work and they go down. And in the evening, it starts about 3 o'clock. I think it's great we have this coming to town because we have some big names that can be put on. We have no place for them. Even the GM Center to have Elton John there was sort of tacky. But my concern is that when this was all proposed, there was talk of having a 401 entrance or exit, and that's not going to happen. Notion Road was supposed to be done. That's not going to happen for 5 years. I think the best thing that I heard tonight was the idea of closing the roadway onto Church Street and just have it onto Bailey. And I think we should rally around trying to campaign for that as Ajax residents because it's part of our road. The other thing is the buses coming across, it pinches at Church Street coming into the village. It's not a commercial road as such, neither Kingston Road at that point nor Church Street. The shuttle buses should be coming down Salem and across Bailey. Those are both regional roads, and that's what we should be rallying to do. And if necessary, others have done it, we can picket across Church Street. Just saying. But I would like this to be brought forward, and I would like us to know how to get them to close Kelowna and how to get the buses going down Salem. Because they'd be starting at Salem from the other casino anyway. That area is not as congested. It doesn't have, we've got the 401.
And you're speaking about the shuttle bus.
The shuttle buses, yes. Because, we've got the 401 at Westney. There's just too much going on in this area that this is all trying to wind its way through. So, anyway, that's my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be positive about this as well. Somebody with a young family having to always go to Niagara Falls or the West End, I think it'll be good to have the growth out here. What about from an environmental perspective? And maybe you addressed this in the beginning, or maybe it's Durham Live and actually not the town. But can you tell me about that green space between closer to Squires Beach and what's happening to that, or is?
So, excuse me. The site, as part of the development of the lands, the city of Pickering did circulate the applications to the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. They are an approval authority when it comes to the environmental impacts of the development on the subject lands, and they would have to issue any permits for work to occur on these lands in adjacent areas to the environmental protected areas on the subject property. And TRCA will be engaged through all site plan applications on the lands within the city of Pickering where the Durham Live development is happening.
So between 3 and 4 on there, the area I'm talking about, that hasn't been approved to be leveled yet?
That's being maintained.
Protected?
Yep.
Oh,
And
I don't know where the protected area
and if you go
stops
to
or-
the city of Pickering's bylaw, that land is in what they call the UR zone, which
Yeah.
is urban reserve.
Okay.
And under their zoning, urban reserve permits no development. So
So,
They did for this area where it's being developed. That's correct.
But not within the environmentally protected area. That area was designated UR.
so as far as you know, the green space that is there, that
Is protected.
Yeah.
this development is not going to affect that.
From what we understand,
Yeah.
yes.
Within Ajax, the site that is currently the Longos was also a protected sugar maple forest, which had some gray area which the developer was able to bypass.
Again, that approval went through with the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority for the Longos Plaza.
I know
Yeah.
that. So all I'm saying is that just because it's protected does not mean it's protected. And that's, if you're concerned with it, I would say Toronto Regional Conservation Authority would be who you would want to.
Yeah.
Right, so then my other question is, and maybe you already answered this, is there going to be another meeting with those types of stakeholders? Durham Live, our own mayor, TRCA, like, can you guys facilitate that for us, the residents, or?
With the city of Pickering
Sure,
about the
invite
development?
them too.
Yeah, we can.
We can
see.
absolutely make
Yeah,
the request.
Yeah, we can make the request for sure.
I don't know, I think it would be good, I know you guys are representing us, but I think sounds like, there's so many stakeholders involved, and we have a lot of questions, so.
For sure. Thank you.
Do you know what that culvert is for? Have you seen it? Just, it's on the Pickering side, just south.
Ma'am?
So I have an observation and then a question. A couple of people have alluded to this, but I want to make it clear. When you say you've done traffic studies and they were done between 7 and 9 a.m. and they were done between 3 and 6 or whatever it was, that is not rush hour in Ajax.
We haven't done the traffic.
Yeah.
No, I know,
Right.
but this is time and time again. It's not understood that rush hour in Ajax is not local. Rush hour is getting to the station, which I did 16 years, getting to the station at 6:35 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And at 6:35 in the morning, it's half full, and at 7 o'clock, it's totally full. 7 to 9 is not rush hour, so doing a traffic study at that hour is meaningless, as somebody alluded to before. And likewise, at the end of the day, those people that got on the train at 5:45 in the morning and left work at 2:30 are coming home. So what is thought of as traditional rush hour is meaningless. This is a bedroom community. People are going, yes, there are some local jobs, and people are going to OPG down Church Street to turn on Bailey to go down to OPG, but a vast majority of the population is going to the GO station.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not 7 to 9. Because if you want to go and park at the GO station at 9 o'clock, good luck.
Definitely.
It's 5 to 7:30. That's rush hour. So that's why people are saying the traffic things are not in the right time frame. They're not. So it's not. We've got to get over the fact that people are living and working in Ajax. People were living in Ajax and working downtown. There are some that do work here, and I agree, and it's good that these jobs are coming. But the number of people that get on the train and go earlier than the time that they're doing the traffic, that's why I asked before, is it a 24-hour closure on Church Street? Because the people coming down Church to go along Bailey and get in the back of the GO station to park are all going to be coming down Westney. So be prepared for Westney traffic to turn into hell for that 2-week period. Because you can't even get down Westney now to the station. And you're going to have all the people that are going down Church Street now coming down Westney to the station. Well, getting out of the station, don't even talk about that one. The question, that was my observation. The question I have is, this is a meeting for Ajax. Is Pickering having meeting like this that we can crash? They did?
I think they just had a meeting.
They did.
Maybe last week. Okay.
Because residents and stakeholders, Ajax residents would be stakeholders of the Pickering Council decisions too, so. If there is another Pickering one, let us know.
Thank you.
Hey, if you could just confirm something for me. You said phase 3 is not confirmed until the flyover Squires Beach is completely built. But I heard phase 2 was confirmed as soon as those plans were confirmed. Is that true? And what's coming in phase 2 versus phase 3, and what's the timeline for phase 2?
phase 1 is the casino, the arena, and the hotel. Phase 2 would be the movie studio.
Which the site plan application was just submitted to the city of Pickering, and the city of Pickering hasn't approved that at any level yet. That would be the limit of development until the flyover is built. That is our understanding as how the agreements have been signed. That
I thought it was different. I thought phase 3 can go until the flyover is built, but phase 2 can proceed now that the flyover is confirmed. They had they had 4 or 5 different options and went through all the studies and stuff.
I think that
it's the studio is the studio lands, or the film studio is the only thing that is not proposed here that can proceed before the flyover is built.
There's another nuclear alert going on, by the way.
So that's depending on who you talk to, the film studio is what they call phase 2.
So what's going in all that space right next to the greenland that's protected? All the part that's dug out there.
In
this down here?
Yes.
That would be phase 3. That's future.
4, 5,
4
6.
or 5 or
if you look,
6.
If you look back at
There'll be hotels, restaurants.
Yeah, if you look
I think
back,
there was a water park that was part of the one of the
So that's not
proposal.
coming for
That's
like
way
a decade.
down the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
the
you.
Durham Live developers grand plan.
Okay.
They need approvals for all of that.
My question is something you may not be able to answer. I'm assuming that there's going to be more police, DRPS, required in this general area on an ongoing basis, not just for traffic, for the opening, but an ongoing basis for crime, traffic, whatever. I've been at a number of police sessions recently. Their budget is maxed out. The other thing, too, is that police station that would be serving them has no room for more police officers. Has been anything addressed with the police on this?
You would have to ask them.
That's what I figured.
Yeah,
I didn't think I could get answers from
Yeah.
you, but I figured that there may have been discussions that you had been part of or had heard of with the policing
discussions
around
we had
this.
with the police were more around the traffic management plan
And how to deal with this
and how
initial...
to deploy the paid duty officers, how to control the opening day scenario with regards to traffic, checkpoints. You know, it's a 24-hour operation. All those elements. That's really what we've talked about. The police haven't got into the discussion around the table about their future needs and impacts and budgets and staffing and more constables,
So just
etc.
not grand opening, but just the opening they've
Right.
addressed, not
Right.
the ongoing
That's right.
policing needs
Correct.
of
Correct.
this
That's correct.
facility. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
The casino. Yeah. The casino. The casino's paying for the road improvements, the police, the traffic plan, the signs. They pay the invoice that they get.
They pay to the level that the DRPS says they have to.
Yeah,
DRPS says you have to have this many officers deployed at this time in order for this plan to work. They set what that is. They then give the casino the invoice.
Get back to the line of people.
This isn't just traffic control problems. I have 40 years in emergency management. I can tell you, traffic is the minimal problem this casino is bringing to the town. If you go on the mic, we can't kind of hear you. We want to be on it.
Sir?
Yes, I live at 7 Rothglen Road South. There's a lot of talk about Church Street, okay, but I live one set of lights east of Church, Rothglen. But, okay, all the traffic, when the church will be closed or the one way, they'll be coming down to Wesley and for the casino. So what they do is going to be going down Rothglen, my street, and that. Okay, we have a thing passed right now for traffic warming. They'll be putting things in, I guess maybe in the summertime or something like that. We discussed that at one of the meetings, town meetings. They're aware of the traffic in Rothglen. But that's, okay, no matter what, instead of, okay, they go past Church, heading east. Okay, so they'll be going down Rothglen before they hit Wesley for a shortcut to go to the casino, to go back over to Bailey. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's back to the other gentleman's, or my comment about that we'll be monitoring that.
Yes, will they
the
have
infiltration is...
Will they have a police officer there? Because right now, okay, they're running the stop signs. Okay, a couple of times it took a half an hour to get over a driveway. You can't back in. You try to back in, and they edge up on the back, so you can't get out of your driveway for a half an hour. This is normal time right now. This is not even when the casino open. So, will there be a police officer or somebody to help you to
We'll
get out of your
bring that
driveway?
up to DRPS, and that's all we can do at
we'll
this point.
express
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, I live in Pickering Village. I've been commuting because I work off Clements for over 23 years. I have the luxury of going to go home at lunch too. So twice a day, I'm down and up church. And I was floored when I saw that I wasn't going to be able to, for the 2 weeks or plus, because I understand there's an option to extend it, that I couldn't use church, but the casino can. Like, they haven't paid one iota of tax to the area yet at all. And here they get unfettered access to the road that I'm no longer able to use. So I'd like you to take that away and let them know that, we object to them using it, and potentially they should be rerouting somewhere else, as it was suggested along Westney or whatever.
And absolutely we will.
Okay. My wife uses it too, so she would be here to object to. But when you're talking to the police services, please convey that, church has been widened. We've down to 2 lanes plus the bike lanes, so police services can get through there. They can get through south of 401 now. Maybe there's a bottleneck at the 401, but they should be able to manage that easily enough. So I can't imagine you needing to extend it beyond the 2 weeks. So please convey that as well. I would like to see, the casino take more accountability for what they're doing to Ajax. And if there's something that we can do as a community, I'd like you to let us know, because we're at a loss too. And we'd like to help support you to do your job better. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't have a question. So thank you for coming tonight, and thank you to John and Jeff for doing this information session for residents here. I'm a counselor in Ajax, have been for 16 years now. And we do have your back, and we do stand behind you, and with 16 years comes a little bit of baggage. So I know the history of this casino, and we fought tooth and nail not to have it in this location, to keep it where the slots are now, because there aren't any traffic issues there, and it's close to the 401, it's close to the 407. But the province made this decision, fully knowing what our concerns were, okay? And even that has a sordid tail to it. But anyway, they made this decision, and they need to step up to the plate and fix this. The finance minister at the province is your MPP, and your MPP needs to hear from you, and he needs to fix this problem. Well, there's, together with your voice, you have that power to make change, and I would suggest that you contact Rod Phillips' office and tell them you have some serious concerns about this area. We tried to get that message out many, many times. We knew this. It's a heritage district, which I think should be protected further, but it's a heritage district, and I hate to see anything happen to it, like the traffic that happens where the other casinos are. So this is a casino that Toronto didn't want. They wanted a big thing. They want to plan a lot of other amenities on this space other than the casino, which will attract even more traffic. And so, you really have to make your voices heard and your concern at the provincial level. So thank you. Thank you for coming.
A quick suggestion for you. I was thinking on Steeles Avenue, where IBM is at Victoria Park, and then on Bayview, IBM has another building. And I was looking at the traffic improvements that are proposed here over the next 18 months. And I don't, and I've been in the land development business 40 years. I know traffic studies are always in the proponent's interest. They're not really, unless the municipality or the region does them, they're always in the proponent's interest. But IBM has put in right-hand turn lanes that fly over the road instead of left-hand turn storage. And I think that we should be forced, instead of using the regional road system here to any great degree, we should be forcing new roads into the Development Durham Live site that is actually going to be their responsibility for operations and maintenance in the long run, and also would alleviate, I think, a lot of the traffic concerns that we're talking about today. So I would appreciate it if you would take the suggestion back that instead of making, I think they still probably have to make those traffic improvements. I don't know that the region's capital programming, and I'm certainly not a big proponent of telling you that I believe the region has the expertise in project management and construction timing based on what I've seen on Kingston Road for the last little while. But you know what, I think they have to be, the region is the one, to me, that has to be strong here. And I think that's an opportunity to have that right hand and flyovers instead of the left hand turn storage that could make a really traffic impact on this site. So if you could take that suggestion back, I think it would be good. The other thing that I would like to suggest, and I don't know why it's different in Durham than it is in York and Peel in the city, that we depend on the Conservation Authority so much for environmental protection, where the other regions take a lead role and the local municipality is even stronger. And I don't know why our planning in Ajax doesn't or acknowledges so much or puts so much responsibility on the Conservation Authority, which has no money and is begging you for money to do anything they do. It should be in our official plan, it should be in our secondary plans, all this protection, and I would like to see that get stronger in Durham. We haven't seen the big developers come out here yet, the way they have in York and Peel. And I think that's one of the things that's going to strengthen the planning in Durham region, is having the opportunity to actually protect our environment the way it should be. So that's just I know that's a big change, but I think it's something that we have to look at in the future.
I will speak to that. We have a very good relationship with the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. Sir, our official plan is a very environmentally focused official plan. It's going to be going through a review in the next couple years. However, I think Ajax, from my perspective and in the time that I've been here for 15 years, we've been very focused on the environment and environmental protection in all the developments that we do. We work hand in hand with the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. We also work with the Central Lake Conservation Authority, as we're affected by 2 conservation authorities here in the town of Ajax. So maybe region-wide, maybe how TRCA operates within the other municipalities, maybe that's because they don't get the support from the local municipality that they have jurisdiction within.
What I'm suggesting too is they take the role themselves and don't wait for the Conservation Authority to be the implementer of any kind.
Fair enough. Thank you.
It's just a suggestion.
Sir, sorry we got cut off there.
Just a couple of points.
Sure.
I didn't get here until after the session started, but why Church Street? Is it just the proximity and the ease of access into the site? Why not Brock Road? Easy access to the 407. Shuttle buses can go up and down there as they please. I'm just a little confused as to
why Church Street for access or shuttles?
Why we're really turning a residential area upside down for the ease of getting shuttle buses in and out of the casino, even if it's for a 2-week period. Because I'm not so certain there's a plan after the 2-week period, even if it's just a trial. What's the plan if the trial doesn't work? And my second point is on the policing. I don't know what their plan is on the number of people that are going to populate this casino and the hotel on an ongoing basis, but I can tell you that the resources in Durham Region police-wise are strapped. I don't know how they continue to do the wonderful job that they do. I'm just wondering if there was any sort of risk management assessment done as part of this plan to see what sort of additional resources will be required from a policing standpoint, not just a policing standpoint, from a complete emergency management services standpoint.
From what we've been made aware of around the table, is they have taken or viewed this management plan through that lens: risk management, emergency management, OPP, DRPS, EMS, all the emergency service groups around the table. From what we've heard from the discussions we had, they have looked through that lens in order to evaluate this kind of traffic management plan. Ma'am?
Hi. I have a request. On on behalf of probably 92 Church Street, and that is there any possibility we can get a light that's activated when we're sitting in our parking lot trying to get out? Obviously.
Permanently.
Permanently,
fully-
yes, yes.
Definitely would be great.
See?
John?
Casino was doing their construction of the road, the access on Colino. They had a temporary light.
That's right.
So can the residents have a temporary light during that phase period as well?
But we can bring, as we said, the idea of the police officer, we can raise it to the,
Yep.
to the,
We can raise it.
to the group.
I have a question too with respect to, it might not be relevant to this, but the golf course, I understand, has been sold and has been rezoned? Or,
It's going through a zoning bylaw. Yeah, it's going through to be rezoned.
has
Correct.
the casino bought that, or, and?
We've heard that they have had or made offers to the Annandale property ownership to purchase the lands. I don't know where they are at within those negotiations, but they have had discussions.
So we could end up with some in Pickering and some in Ajax.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they purchase the land, what their plan would be for that. All we know now is that the landowners of the Annandale Golf Course, I think it's a family. I think there's 4 families that own the golf course. All they want to do right now, and all they have with the town of Ajax, is a zoning bylaw amendment to basically rezone kind of this area from golf course to prestige employment, whereas the balance of the lands, which would be in this area here,
These,
would be environmental protection.
So it would be Ajax that actually
That's the
approved the
prestige.
zone?
That's right.
That's the valley.
That's right. Those lands are in the town of Ajax. I think it's a different zoning in the city of Pickering.
It's an MTD, major tourist destination.
MTD,
It's a,
yeah. You're welcome.
Quick question. Is our hospital being updated or any changes to it just in case of problems at the casino, etc.? I.e., it's got to be a big facility. It's going to grow. We're going to need to increase the size of the hospital. And what's Pickering going to do to help Ajax General Hospital?
We have no information that the hospital needs to be upgraded as a result of the casino.
So just with the application for rezoning and the potential sale of Annandale, is it possible that there could be is it Colino Road?
Colino, yeah.
Could be extended east to Westney, which would create a nice east-west and relieve a lot of the traffic. Is that a possibility?
We have seen some concepts from various proponents within this area, the Durham Live, of having 2 roads come through the Annandale lands. However, they're just drawings at this point, and there's a big long process that you would have to go through to even establish those roads, especially given the environmental protected lands that those roads would have to cross over.
any roads through those lands would be subject of an extensive environmental assessment.
Yeah, of course, but it is a possibility.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I just had a communication from someone I know. Concerns regarding communication about the casino to the Ajax residents is between them and their council. Pickering Council had their first meeting Monday afternoon. Discussion about regional roads took place at the regional level. Ajax has 3 councilors and a mayor at the region. You need to discuss this with them. So where are they?
Right here. I'm right here.
Okay, well, this is it. This is the communications with someone I know, and this is what they're saying. And we have nobody from Pickering here. We have no one from the region here. And no, they're not listening to our concerns. And as far as it goes.
Well, I'll put it this way, the casino goes through a process in Pickering because the land isn't, you draw a line. Everybody has a line.
Right, I understand that. Okay, I understand all that, but the whole thing is that in essence, we're getting nothing from the casino at all. Yeah, we've established that very well. So if we're getting nothing, why are we the ones that are going to have to, I'm going to just put it bluntly, put up with all the bullshit that's going on and getting nothing for it? Because we're paying in some cases in the area that I live in, we are paying in excess of $7,000 a year in taxes. If we aren't going to see any benefit from that, so in other words, to put up with all the nonsense that is going on, I think we should get a reduction in our taxes by at least $2,000 a year. And that's the only way that you're going to get people to be at least accepting of the casino.
In many respects, this question is pointless, but I'm curious. We knew about this project in about 2012, so that's 8 years ago. Did Ajax Council consider putting in a competing bid to a much better location, i.e. Ajax Downs, Ajax Casino? And if not, oh, they did.
So, they did.
And
so
what caused it to fail, since it has all the pluses, all the positives that this location doesn't have?
Well, if we had another 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very, very briefly. Yes. Yes. OLG created a bundle, a certain area. Whitby, Pickering, Ajax was bundle 3 under OLG. And anywhere within that bundle, a successful operator through the OLG process could locate a casino facility anywhere in that area. The slots at Ajax Downs submitted an official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment to upgrade the slots to a casino. It went through a planning process. It was approved by council. It was appealed to the Ontario Municipal Board, now the local planning appeals tribunal. And at the same time, Pickering was going through theirs. They did a zoning bylaw amendment. The town appealed that application in Pickering. Both of these applications went before that provincial tribunal, and the tribunal approved the casino site in Pickering, and it approved the land use permissions in Ajax as well. But the operator picked the Pickering site.
So this was prior to 2015?
No, it was probably after 2015, because the Ajax applications, I think the Pickering applications were in 2015.
They were, yeah.
Yeah. I was the planner on the Ajax Downs file. If there's no other questions, that concludes our event this evening. You don't have to leave, but you can hang out and ask any questions. We'll be here for a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not brave enough
Hey.
to say this into the
Good, how are you?
microphone, but
Hey,
I ride a
Stephen.
bicycle, and none of this traffic stuff is going to bother me in the least. Don't you dare to I have one like I'd be lynched if I said that all out.